Commissioner, I call Colleen Taylor.
The evidence you will give will be the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please raise my concerns. As a compliance unit, we should not be the ones stealing from our customers.
The whole point of our unit was to make sure that people were doing the right thing. And here we were doing the wrong thing. It was like a corporate insanity or an organisational stupidity that suddenly took over people. How did people that you thought were servants of the public, how did they turn into, not to put a fine point on it, monsters?
Colleen Taylor was an ordinary public servant who had spent a career helping people find jobs when she worked at the old Commonwealth Employment Service, and then helping students get support before she found herself in 2011 in the compliance section of Centrelink.
You would work with what you had for the best advantage to the customers, and you would do it with, empathy and compassion. So our job was to find people who had been overpaid and some who were, they were criminals and rorting the system or what have you. But we knew that was minuscule. We had a motto, if you like, that 95% of people are doing the right thing. Well, I reckon it's probably closer to 98%. So we knew that there wasn't this pot of gold of people who are rorting the system,
In 2015, a pilot project started which tried to link up data from the tax and social security systems to make sure people were not being overpaid. In 2016, the system became totally automated, with ministers at the time believing it would reap billions of dollars of savings, which would fix a continuing hole in the federal budget.
And there was this almost like a perfect storm. So you've got someone comes up with this idea that's just idiotic to start with, that doesn't stand the test. And then you've got a group of people who are, their ego and their ambition is bigger than their competence, basically, is how I used to think of it.
The problem was often the simple fact that the name of an employer someone wrote on their Centrelink form might be different from the actual name of the business.
You think of everyone who works at McDonald's. Of course they're going to declare McDonald's. But the business entity with the tax office is a corporation, is a family trust, is what have you. And so once you took away the human eye, then this computer was saying, oh, you never declared for that employer. So it's creating a debt. You can imagine the desperation of people who are trying to work out, what have I done wrong, And they hadn't done anything wrong.
Within a month of the system becoming operational, Taylor sent an email up the chain of command expressing her alarm, but was fobbed off.
So I sent through a thing to say, we are being asked to commit fraud. And that was as early as early February 2017. The result of that was being told, well, if you've still got concerns, take it up with the leadership team.
She says that shortly after this, she and her team were moved on mental health grounds. When the department secretary, Catherine Campbell, sent out a staff email in late January 2017 dismissing early media reports of problems, Colleen Taylor decided to write directly to her, thinking that she might be unaware of what was actually happening on the front line. Her complaints were dismissed as Taylor's failure to understand the system.
And I had said, people will commit suicide. It doesn't take much imagination.
Her worst fears were realised when 27-year-old Reece Corzo's suicide was linked to receiving an assessment that he owed Centrelink thousands of dollars, and what his mother said were almost daily calls from Centrelink and then debt collectors.
When Reece committed suicide and it was in the media, and I remember going into the manager's office and saying, look, it started.
Watching events unfold took a toll on Colleen.
But she's a warm person, but the way I think of her is she's very ethical, very strong sense of right and wrong, always has been like that.
Deeply disillusioned, she left the public service in 2017, but followed events, which included an Ombudsman's inquiry and 2 Senate inquiries. Nothing seemed to happen until the Albanese government announced a Royal Commission.
Amazing work. And 900 pages later, and it was, it was just wonderful. And then when there was this sealed section that people were being, referred on for hopefully criminal charges, and you thought, oh, thank God for that.
But Colleen Taylor was one of many people who was to be disappointed by the decision by the National Anti-Corruption Commission to not pursue the matter.
The National Anti-Corruption Commission has said that, well, one of the reasons that they're not going to pursue, I think it was 5 of the 6, is that, you know, it wouldn't be fair to subject them to yet another investigation. Like hell, you know, it's just, people are still going through hell because of this. It will be a lifelong thing that they have to, you know, carry, and it's just awful.
But as 7:30 was talking to Colleen Taylor, word came through that the Inspector of the National Anti-Corruption Commission was going to hold an inquiry into why it hadn't pursued the matter, after the Royal Commission referred 6 public servants to it. The inspector said the office had received nearly 900 complaints.
Oh, wonderful. And one of them's from me.
Colleen Taylor says she was humbled by being recognised in the King's Honours list recently, but is happy to talk about her honour if it keeps the victims of Robodebt in the public mind.
I used to think, what could I have done more? And then I think about, well, hang on a minute. There was academics, there was lawyers, there was unions, there was advocacy groups, there was customers, there was staff, there was all these people that were providing this information. They got ignored.
We were really pleased, really excited for her. She totally deserves it, even though she is very self-deprecating about that. She was brave. She stood up. She wasn't the only one, but she really tried very hard to do the right thing.